This presentation is about corporate governance, and the participants are Vikrant Rana, Lovepreet Rani, Kanwardeep Singh Virk, and Kamaljeet Kaur. This presentation covers the topic Introduction, Corporate Governance, Importance of Corporate Governance, Advantages and Disadvantages of Corporate Governance, Key factors influence the corporate governance, sensitivity analysis, input output sensitivity analysis, purpose of sensitivity analysis, types of sensitivity analysis, advantages and disadvantages of sensitivity analysis, link of corporate governance and sensitivity analysis, and lastly, concluded with the conclusion. Now, let's start with the introduction. This presentation will discuss about how to use sensitivity analysis to assess the credibility of corporate governance practices. By understanding the sensitivity analysis to identify the key factors that influence corporate governance and their significance, we will also relate this with the potential areas for improving corporate governance practices. It can also provide insightful information about how changes in inputs affect outputs. Corporate governance is the set of laws, customs, and procedures that regulate and govern an organization. It covers how the board's powers are exercised and the process of holding it accountable to the company's stakeholders. A company's long-term success and ability to create value for all stakeholders depends on good corporate governance. The processes used to create and pursue a company's goals in the context of the social, regulatory, and market environments are included in corporate governance. It focuses on procedures and policies for trying to ensure that a business is conducted in a way that it accomplishes its goals while giving stakeholders confidence that their trust in that business is well founded. Importance of corporate governance. First, fairness. Fairness is an important part of corporate governance as it ensures that all stakeholders are treated fairly and their interests are considered. This means ensuring that employees are treated fairly in terms of wages and working conditions, that shareholders are paid equally for their rights and participations in the company, and that the company operates ethically and sustainably. Second, transparency. Effective corporate governance standards encourage accountability and transparency, which can boost investor confidence in the organization. Third, resource allocation. Good corporate governance standards aid in better resource allocation, which improves the company's performance and stability. Fourth, performance. Effective corporate governance procedures can result in increased profitability and better risk administration. Higher shareholder returns and increased value for other stakeholders may arise from this. Fifth, decision making. Adopting sound corporate governance procedures can help guarantee that decisions are made with the company's and its stakeholders' interests in mind. This may entail making sure that stakeholder rights are upheld and that the business runs ethically and sustainably. Sixth, risk management. Effective corporate governance procedures aid in recognizing, evaluating, and managing risks, which will improve the company's performance and stability.
Advantages of corporate governance. increased returns for shareholders, and better value for other stakeholders. Good corporate governance procedures can result in increased financial performance and better risk management. Second, transparency and accountability are increased. Effective corporate governance standards encourage transparency and accountability, which can boost investors' confidence in the organization. Third, better decision making. Adopting sound corporate governance procedures can help guarantee that decisions are made with the company's and its stakeholders' interest in the mind. Fourth, better risk management. Good corporate governance procedures aid in the identification, evaluation, and management of risk, which will improve the company's performance and stability. Fifth, better resource allocation. Good corporate governance standards aid in better resource allocation, which improves the company's performance and stability. Disadvantages of corporate governance. First, cost. Implementing effective corporate governance principles can be costly when changes to business systems, processes, and structures are required. Second, micromanaging risks. Good corporate governance practices can lead to micromanagement that stifles innovations and creativity by over-involving the company in a day-to-day operations. Third, restrict flexibility. Effective corporate governance procedures can limit a company's flexibility and make it difficult for the company to respond quickly to changing circumstances. Fourth, raise of conflicts. Effective corporate governance procedures can lead to disputes between various parties, including shareholders and management. Fifth, risk over regulation. Overregulation is a risk to good corporate governance standards, as it can stifle innovations and creativity and make it difficult for companies to respond quickly to changing conditions. Key factors influence the corporate governance. First, board structure. The board of directors makeup is important to corporate governance. A diverse board with a range of backgrounds and abilities can offer a variety of viewpoints and aid in identification of potential dangers and possibilities. Compliance. How a business complies with rules and regulations may have an impact on how corporate governance is carried out. The interest of shareholders and other stakeholders can be protected by adhering to the rules and regulations. Third, stakeholders can get the knowledge they need from transparency to make wise decisions about the business. By facilitating stakeholders' accountability for companies and its management's activities, transparency can improve accountability. Fourth, engagement of stakeholders. How a corporation interacts with its stakeholders may have an impact on how corporate governance is carried out. Fifth, stakeholders' interest can be protected and possible dangers and opportunities can be identified with the help of effective stakeholder engagement. Sensitivity analysis. The technique used to determine how independent variable values will impact a particular dependent variable under a given set of assumptions is defined as sensitivity analysis. Its usage will depend on one or more input variables within the specific boundaries, such as the effect that changes the interest rate will have on bonds price. Analysts can identify with which factor are more important than others in influencing a choice using this technique. As a result, it gives investors perspective on how various factors may affect the prospective returns on their investments. The analyst will observe how the variables change as well as how the input variables influence the target.
Input sensitivity, the factors that are being altered or adjusted in order to comprehend their effect on the outputs are referred to as inputs, sometimes known as independent variables or parameters. For instance, board membership, shareholder structure, compensation policies, and risk management techniques are some examples of inputs in corporate governance. The variables that are impacted by changes in the inputs are known as outputs or dependent variables. Financial performance, risk management, compliance, and stakeholder engagement are examples of outcomes in corporate governance. The importance of inputs and outputs in sensitivity analysis lies in the fact that it enables the modeler or decision maker to comprehend how changes in inputs will affect the outputs and to pinpoint the most crucial inputs. The modeler or decision maker can concentrate on the regions that have the most effects on the outputs and make changes to improve performance by identifying the most important inputs. Supporting decision making. Sensitivity analysis can help with decision making by identifying the most important inputs that should be taken into account during the decision making process and by offering insights on how changes in inputs will influence the outputs. Identifying the most significant inputs. By determining which inputs have the biggest effects on the results, sensitivity analysis enables the modeler or decision maker to concentrate on the most crucial elements. Figure out the areas of improvements. Sensitivity analysis is a tool that can be used to find potential areas of improvement in a model or system. For instance, it can be used to find inputs that can be adjusted to perform better yet have a significant impact on the outputs. Figure out the effect of uncertainty. Sensitivity analysis can be used to assess the effects of uncertainty on a model's outputs, giving users a better understanding of the risk and uncertainty related to various inputs. Scenario analysis. This kind of sensitivity analysis looks at how various scenarios affect the model's results. The modeler can then determine potential areas for improvement and comprehend how various input and output combinations will affect each other. Univariate. When performing this kind of sensitivity analysis, all other variables are held constant while one input variable is changed. This enables the modeler to comprehend the distinctive effects of every input on each outcome. Global sensitivity analysis. The goal of this kind of sensitivity analysis is to determine the top model inputs and their respective weights. It is used to comprehend the link between inputs and outputs and to pinpoint the inputs that have the biggest influence on model outcomes. Supporting sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis can be used to test ideas about how various inputs would impact the outputs, which can offer insightful information about how various elements interact to affect the outputs. Flexibility. The sensitivity analysis is a flexible tool that may be used on a variety of issues and models. Cost effective. By determining the most important inputs, sensitivity analysis is a cost effective technique to assess the performance of a model or choice. By doing so, it can help to find areas that can be improved and enhance decision making. Choosing the most critical inputs. Sensitivity analysis enables the modeler or decision maker to comprehend which inputs have the biggest influence on the results. Sensitivity analysis can be used to access the effects of several scenarios on the results, which can give important insights into the interaction between various factors and the outcomes. Sensitivity analysis can offer insightful information about how various input will affect the outputs, which can help with decision making by pointing up potential areas for improvement.
Sensitivity analysis can be a challenging task, particularly for models or choices that have a larger number of inputs and outputs. Understanding and correctly interpreting the results may be challenging. As a result, limited scope. Sensitivity analysis often concentrates on a single model or choice without considering the larger context of the issue. Sensitivity analysis frequently relies on assumptions on the connections between inputs and outputs, and these assumptions might not always true in actual use. It takes time. Sensitivity analysis can take a while, especially for models or choices with a lot of inputs and outputs limited to input ranges. Results of sensitivity analysis are constrained by the set of inputs used in the analysis and might not be applicable. Suppose Sam works in sales for ABC company that sells Christmas lights in shopping malls. Sam is busy shopping for Christmas as he know the season is approaching. He wants to know if and by how much an increase in the number of visitors to the mall will increase total sales. A selection of Christmas ornaments typically costs $20. Sam said he sold 500 packages of Christmas ornaments during last holiday season, and in total he made sales of 10,000 US dollars. Using financial sensitivity analysis, Sam found that a 10% increase in traffic to the mall resulted in a 7% increase in sales. Now, Sam can use this information to estimate how much company ABC would make if consumer traffic increased by 20%, 40%, or 100%. According to Sam financial sensitivity analysis, these traffic increases lead to his 14%, 28%, and 70% revenue increases respectively. Note, to calculate the sensitivity analysis, first we have to define the model's base case. Second, we need to calculate the output variable given a new input variable while maintaining the status quo for all other presumptions. In last, we need to divide the percentage change in the output variable over the percentage change in the input variable to find the sensitivity. Broad structure. A sensitivity analysis can be used to assess how different broad structures affect the effectiveness of the corporate governance process. Shareholder composition. Sensitivity analysis can be used to assess how different ownership structures affect the effectiveness of corporate governance procedures. Crisis management. Sensitivity analysis can be used to assess how different risk management strategies affect the effectiveness of corporate governance processes. Scenario analysis. This type of sensitivity analysis is performed to assess how various circumstances affect the effectiveness of corporate governance practices. Control and monitoring. Sensitivity analysis can be used to assess how various control and monitoring procedures affect the efficacy of corporate governance procedures. This slide concludes about sensitivity analysis and corporate governance. A number of aspects, including as board composition, shareholder structure, remuneration policies, and so on, has been described effectively.